All right, now it should all be working. Cool.
Maybe give that somewhere again.
So this is going to be for a designing an infinite runner. I'm going to be taking you guys to, I'm assuming you guys don't know anything about blueprints, and taking you into knowing everything there is to know about this infinite runner and kind of what process I use to make it and my kind of thought process to doing that. Thank you, Matt. So first off, this is the Epic Games Launcher. It's a great place to start when you're making your game. I'm going to click Launch up here, and we're going to get into the project. So hopefully it doesn't launch a random project, which it did. I don't want to launch a random project. I want to go to just launch a regular library. There we are. Thank you. I was like, where's my launcher thingy? Nope, I don't want you. Yeah.
Pick from your library what's already.
Yeah, all right. Now, it usually just launches up a menu that says, what do you want to open up? And I like when it does that. I'll say new project, please. And I, when I'm choosing a project, I'm thinking about, I'm making an infinite runner. That means I'm going to be able to see my character in front of me, which is going to be like a third-person character. So I'm going to choose a template that will make it so I don't have to do as much work. So I'm going to choose a third-person camera template, and then I'm going to strip it down until it has what I want out of it. And I'm going to make sure these settings are all what I want. I don't want any starter content because I don't want to remove it later. And I'm fine with the other two settings for right now. And I'm going to make sure I name it something cool like Infinite Runner Demo. Great name. And we're going to click Create Project at the bottom. And hopefully it all builds correctly and opens up. And here we are. So I will move our menus around a little bit so we can see this play button up here. And I'm going to play it and see, yep, I can move around with my WASD controls. I can also move the camera around. And I have this little level I can walk around the stairs and whatnot. For an infinite runner, I'm not going to want most of these controls. And I'm also not going to want any control over the camera. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the blueprint for this character. And I'm going to put him somewhere I like him. Right now, he's inside content, third-person blueprint, and blueprints. I liked him somewhere a little bit nicer. So I'm going to click this button over here so I can see my folder hierarchy. And I'm going to make a new folder in the base folder here. I'm going to call it blueprints, or just new folder. Right-click, rename should be somewhere in this list. There it is. And I'm going to call this blueprints. I like to have all my blueprints right there in the base folder, so I don't have to go digging through them, come into blueprint here and come into here and find it. So I'm going to drag this onto my blueprints over here. So it's a nice spot. And I'm going to say move, not copy. And I'm also going to grab this third-person game mode because I might want that later. And I don't want to search through my folders to find it. All right, so now that it's in here, I'm going to double-click and open up my third-person character and see all the features it's got. So first off, we have some gamepad input. I think for my game, I'm not going to use any gamepad input, so I'm just going to select it and delete it. So I'm just stripping down the game from all the stuff it kind of comes with to only having stuff I want. Mouse input, I do not want to use the mouse at all. I'll delete that. I am going to be using jumping. Jumping is going to be a big part of my infinite runner. So he's going to run, move left and right, and jump. So I'm going to keep that for now. Movement input. This sounds like something I want. For right now, I only care about input axis right, so I want to move left and right. I also have input axis forward. I'm going to be getting into what these input axes are a bit later, but input axes are great. They allow me not to use individual keystrokes, but I can kind of configure, and I can have the players configure what keys they can press in order to do actions. and it's really nice and convenient. So I'm going to disable by pressing Alt and clicking on the execution pin here. I can disable this node here so that my forward no longer functions. And I'll just have it move left and right using move right. So you can only move on A and D. And what else do I got in here? I've got a touch input. I'm not really using touch, so I'll get rid of this too. I'm just going to be making a PC game, so I don't need to worry about that. And I believe that's everything in my game. So I can see I've only have move left and right and a jump. So I'm going to compile, make sure everything's good and green, and I'm going to press the play button here. And I'm actually going to press this button and do a standalone game. There's a bunch of different play things, but I want to see what the game looks like. And I don't want to go back to my scene to look at it. So I'll save, and let's see it launch in a little thing. And I can see, okay, I move left and right. I can't move forward, and I can jump still. So this is perfect, and my mouse also does nothing. That's exactly what I wanted. Now I just need to escape out of here. No, it doesn't want to escape. There we go. I'm going to move that and dock my menu in there so I can easily go back and forth with my menu and my blueprint. I like having all my stuff in kind of one nice row at the top when I'm using one screen. It makes it a lot more easy to use. So first thing I want to do is, I don't like this map. I want a map that, actually, let's make our first thing that I move forward automatically. So to do that, I'm just going to right-click anywhere in this blueprint, and I want an event called event. So event tick happens every single frame of the game, which most of the time you have to be kind of cautious of using this too much, but I'm not going to have a lot of things in here, so I should be fine. And what I want to do is I want to move forward. So if you remember from if we look at some of these things over here, I have a add movement input. So I'm basically going to be making one of these over here, and I'm going to tell it what direction I want it to move in. And I'm going to not require any actual input, it's just going to happen. So movement, what is it called? Movement input? Add movement input, there you are. And right now it's saying it's going to move self. It's going to move in no direction at the moment because I have it 0, 0, and 0. It's going to move at a scale of 1, and I can say force it. So I'm going to say I want to move along the X. I'm going to move along the X1. And I'm going to say scale is 1, 2. And I want to new window. So he's running forward. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. So whenever I add a block into the game, I make sure to always play it, test it, make sure my code is working properly, and that what I've just typed in there is actually doing something. I'm not playing the game just to play the game. I'm playing the game to test out my feature. So I have him moving forward, and everything's looking nice and dandy. Now let's make a new level so he has something better to run through. And we are going to be making a level that is all about being procedural. Most infinite runners are procedurally done so that the level can go on and on and on and on, and I don't have to kind of design the whole level. I can just kind of design presets for the level and adjust numbers. So that's what I'm going to be attempting to do here. So I'm going to come to my base root of the folder, the content. I'm going to make a new folder for maps, just because I like having folders for everything. I could grab the map out of one of the third-person things. I believe that's where this map exists at the moment, but I don't care that much. So I'm going to right-click. Actually, I'm going to click File and New Level up here. It gives me the option when I do it through the menu up here to either select default or empty level. I'm going to choose default because I want that stuff already set up for me so I can make this more quickly. It's all about making a speed prototype. So I'm going to say save selected. And I got a little prototype here. I've got a player start. So if I was going to click play right now, my player is not in there. So what I want to do is make sure this game is configured and knows that my character needs to be put into this player start. So that is done through Mr. Game Mode, and it talks to,
World settings.
I'm in world settings is over here.
Oh, I thought you wanted
Game mode, yeah, I can make game mode this game mode here. Actually, I want third person game mode. And I'll save my level because I think it's a good thing to do before my game decides to crash. And I want to call this level under maps. I'm going to call it first level. Great name. And there's a save button down there. If I can get to it. Save. And now, if I click play, my character's in the game, and he just jumped off my platform.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's running along the X here. So I should try to make sure that I'm situated in a way that I know he's running this way. And I'm going to start out by figuring out what I want to do with my level. I want to have something be making the level, and I want blocks for it to place. Most of the times when you're programming, you want to not do everything all in one code or script. You want every blueprint, let's say, be doing a different task. So my character, he's his own blueprint, and he's doing one task. He's taking my input and performing it. Where my blueprint for my character he talks to a game mode. The game mode does stuff like records my score and saves my game and does that sort of thing. If I had an enemy AI, my enemy would he would just worry about moving around, and I might have a guy above him that worries about enemy health, and he kind of drives stuff from him. So I only want my blueprint that I'm going to be creating to do one thing. And the blueprint that I want to create is going to be a spot for me to walk on. So I'm going to go to, let's just drag in a box. That's a great way to do it. And this box is going to be over here. So he's going to be right in front of me, hopefully. Let's just test that, make sure he is. Yep, right in front of me. Cool, I'm in the right direction. That's always good to know. And if I'm going to say, all right, my box is there. I'm going to, I can do multiple things to this box, but I can either come into this box over here and I can convert it to a, no, I don't want Blender. Go away, Blender.
Oh, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, go away. So I can either make a blueprint out of it through the details here, or I can kind of make a blueprint out of it in several different ways. I'm going to click this blueprint button right here. And it's going to ask me where it wants me to save it. I'm going to put it in my blueprints folder. I'm going to call this one level underscore blueprint. It does not like spaces, so there's an underscore in there. And that's a great spot for it. So now it's level blueprint. I'm going to open that up. And it's got a nice little viewport for me. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the bottom right corner. It has my Z, Y, and X. And I'm going to make sure my X is facing the direction I think it should be facing for my level, because I know I'm going to be running along X. And I'm going to add a component, and I'm going to add an arrow component. And this arrow component is really going to help me out when I'm making this, so that I never get confused what direction is my forward direction when I'm making this object, because I can't see the level when I'm working on it. And I can scale this thing up so it's nice and large. Oh, I can scale it uniformly. So it's nice and large so I can not miss it. I can even change the color over here so it's not red. It's like a blue or purple.
Pretty.
So nice blue for me. And I can start working on making my level look nice and cool. So I'm going to make this box like 100. Ooh, that's far too big.
It's parented.
Yeah, my arrow is parented, so I'm going to unparent my arrow.
I didn't know that would actually work.
Yeah, my mouse is not working. Yeah. All right, let's just Control D. It's going to work. All right, undo successful. So I'm going to.
Maybe drag static underneath it. Not arrow.
Yeah. This selected. Okay. This guy, he's going to be. I'm going to cheat and make him invisible. Because everything has to be apparent under this guy.
Right.
And I should have made an empty actor for this one if I was smarter about it.
Yeah.
But I forgot to. He's invisible, and he does not make any collisions at all. All right. Cool. He's like a nothing now. Though he'll still cost me a draw call, which is slightly annoying, but this game should not use too many draw calls, so it should go right. Cube. So now I got a new cube. And this cube I can mess around with and change the scale and not mess everything in my hierarchy up. So I'm going to change that to 10. And perfect. And Z is up and down. Let's change X to 10. And all right, that looks fine. I'm going to look at my game, and you can notice it automatically updates in the game and making it an object that I can kind of place around the world. And I can also see this object's properties and know it's basically at location, probably I can round it up to 1,000. And it'll be perfectly the right size for me to make them every 1,000 blocks. There's a new one. So, and it's about the same size as my launch platform. Probably if I scoot it over slightly by adjusting the numbers manually there, it'll work a little bit better. That's good enough for me. Let's see if my character follows through and works. Right. Everything's working about that. You can go on top of it and everything. So let us go into the blueprint, and we want to have this guy be made more and more of them. So we want it to create itself. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to start by making a empty blueprint class this time, and I'm going to make it an actor, and this actor is going to spawn these guys for me. So I'm going to call this level maker blueprint. The level maker blueprint. I'm going to open them up, and I'm going to add a billboard to them. Billboards are cool because they look like a giant T-Rex face or dinosaur face. And I can drag this onto the scene root, and I'll get rid of the scene root, and I see the giant dinosaur face. And when I drag this into my level, oh, not that guy, this guy. When I drag him into the level, come out there, he looks like a little dinosaur. And I can size him up. He doesn't matter, but I want to size him up so I can find him later. And I'm just going to keep him right there near the start, and I might want to click on him in order to find some stuff about him. So with my level maker, I don't need to do anything with the viewport. I'm just only going to go into the event graph, and I'm going to say that on event tick, I'm going to spawn an actor from a class. And this is going to do horrible things to my game, but hey, let's see if it works. We're going to spawn our level blueprint. And I want to say where I want to spawn him. So my spawn transform. I don't want to give it my exact transform. I want to give it like a location and maybe a scale. So I'm going to right click on this and say split struct pin. And now I get access to the location and the scale. And I don't really care about the rotation, so I'm not going to touch that. And the location, I'm just going to set it to 1000x for now. Eventually, I'm going to make it increment and be 1000x more every time. Right now, 1000x works perfectly fine. I'm going to compile. Everything compiles fine. And actually, let's do 2000x to see if we can just see it. And let's go here. Let's save everything. And let's play. And I have a new block here. So that means everything's good. You might notice the new block is white and not black like this one is. That's just because it spawned a lot of them because I did it on event tick. So there was a lot of overlapping meshes there, which not the best idea to do. So maybe I want to have a delay in here before I spawn new ones. But right now, I'm going to try to figure out a way for the guys from spawning to spawn further and further out. So in order to do that, I'm going to create a new variable over here. And this variable is going to be called number of blocks. And number of blocks has created something over in the details panel. So right now it's a Boolean, it's red. I don't want a Boolean. I want an integer because I'm going to have a finite amount of these blocks. Integers are great for counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is exactly what I want to do. And I can click this eyeball here, or I can click this editable, and I can edit it from other scripts. That seems like, and I can also edit it from the viewport out here. So if I can, and I can see what's going on when I click on my guy. So I'm going to make it editable so I can see what's happening with it. And after I compile, I can say number of blocks is 0 when it starts out. That's just what I want. So I'm going to say, once I make one, I'm going to set number of blocks to be 1 more, which actually I can use a node that I really like called increment int. And what it does is it takes a guy like this, or I can also drag this guy out and get a get out of him and connect that right in there. And it increases it by 1. So I don't have to write up a function to find it and increase it by 1. It's all wrapped up in this nice little CI. And if I was curious how this works, I can double click on it and it'll take me inside and show me the function that it's actually doing, which I was going to code up something roughly similar to this, which they already got something for me for that. So yay. So now it should be making number of blocks. Let's just see what's doing, how many blocks it's making by doing a print string and printing the number that it's making. And we'll see kind of what ridiculous number of blocks we're making. So at the top left, you can see the number it's making, and there's quite a bit, and they're all in the same spot. So I want to make sure I can start moving them now. And let's keep this print string for now. It might be helpful for us for a little bit longer, so I'll keep it around. So I want to be spawning these things based on the number of blocks there are, probably. So let's grab a number of blocks. I'm going to get that number, and I'm going to say, I'm going to take that number and then multiply that number by another integer, like 1,000. And that should theoretically make us have a block every 1,000 spaces, which is what I wanted, which I can't really touch that X right now. So I have to break Mr. Transform. Oh, I don't want to break. I want to make one. I lied. I'm going to make a vector And when I make a vector, I could now mess with that x value, which I can't really tie a node in there before. And I could connect it right in there. So let me move these blocks apart from each other. My mouse will let me. So you can see what's going on. So now this number should be going up every 1,000 for every block we have. Starting at 0, 0 times 1,000, it should be at the first spot, but hey. And let's see if I can run. Now I got an infinite road here that's going to go on forever. Awesome. All right, next thing I noticed that I need to change is my third person character. I don't like my camera angle. It's not the best. The camera is right here, like staring at my butt the entire time, and I don't like that. So I'm going to click on camera boon, and I can change the arm length by swiveling this target arm length parameter here. So I'm going to make it a nice like 750. Why not? And I also want it slightly up. So I'm going to find the Z here and crank that up. So it's, not that high. Far too high. Let's put 100 in there. Now it's more like head height, and it's 700 back. So let's see how that looks. Oh, yeah, that's a lot nicer. And now you can really see how far my road really goes. So that's pretty perfect looking. All right, let us go and configure our level so it's more interesting than just a road. We can come into our level blueprint, and I can come in and add more blocks. So, or I can grab this block that I've already made, press Control W, it makes a duplication of it, and I can drag it around. I can also rotate it so I can create some walls. So probably like 90-degree walls there, and rotate in this place like that. Press Control W again and get my other wall here. And let's see how that feels. Now I got a really dark cave.
It's kind of chuggy. You could go turn that I don't want ultra settings on my laptop. That might be
for
my viewport preview of it.
All right, let's go to the.
It's on the next perspective that maybe it's around there.
Should be viewport renderer.
I feel like it's right there.
Let's see our frame rate. What we're looking at right now. But it should be somewhere in settings right here. It's
I think it's on the last one you're in.
What, over here?
Yeah.
That's not over here. That just give me debug information.
Engine scalability settings.
Or is that it? Settings?
Settings. Engine scalability settings. Up, down, right there. There you go. Take all that shit off of Epic. There you go. That'll give you better frame rate.
Yeah. Let's see if our frame rate's good now. Oh, I want to see my frame rate in game. So I'm going to switch back over to select viewport. That's still pretty chuggy. Oh, okay. There it goes.
Oh, why did that go so much better right there? It just went from like horrible to amazing.
There's probably still recoding and thinking about it. But yeah, it's still working amazing, even though we have like 20,000 blocks I've created, which makes my blocks probably going to be a problem soon. Super chuggy still on the viewport. Oh, then it goes good again. Interesting.
Yeah.
Don't know what's causing that.
I think it popped off of Ultra, maybe onto the feathers.
All right, so you can see I can just change this level blueprint, and I can easily change my entire level very easily because of how I'm setting up my procedural level to work. But you might have noticed it's really dark in there. So let us add a lighting, and I can add a skylight. And skylight will get rid of all those dark shadows and make it kind of light inside here. And you can see, I can actually see my character. And I can come into the settings of Mr. Skylight. Let's press F to find it. And I can kind of change all sorts of if shadows are cast, and there's a bunch of settings in here I can go into. Let's just change the light color from nice white to like maybe like a more of a red, just to make it cooler looking. Oh, warmer looking, I guess. That sounds like an evil hallway there. All right, that's awesome. I'm going to add a few other things to this level here so we can see perspective as we're passing through this level. Right now, you can't really tell. There's multiple blocks to it, which might be a good thing, but I'd like to see some variation in there. So I'm going to press Control W, make another one of these little guys, change the scaling of the X to 1 again, and that should give me like a little pillar. And for this pillar, I don't want the player to actually run into it, so I'm going to change it to no collision, and I'm going to duplicate it across. And compile. And I can run through these pillars without any problem. And I can kind of see this is a really long hallway. It's all evilly looking. All right, so what I want to do is have something to kind of hit in this hallway and be able to do something with it. So I'm going to add a spawner in my level blueprint. So inside this guy here, I'm going to go to the events graph, and I'm going to make it so it randomly chooses what it wants to spawn. And I'm going to do that not on any of these, but on event begin play. So this happens when that actor comes into play. So since I'm spawning them, it'll happen differently for each one. And I'm going to say it's going to do a split. Nope. Nope. It's a brain's not working. Let me cheat. Cheating. Switch. It started with an S. Switch. And I want to switch one of these. Yeah, there's a ton of them. I want to switch actor. Oh. All right, let's just say, actually, let's do a switch.
Context sensitive.
We're going to do a switch float. Yeah, that'll work for us. And let us put in a, we're going to get a, and watch an array. These float types. We get a random float in range. And I'm going to use the context sensitive window to help me out. Switch on it. Oh, maybe it's an int. Maybe I want an int out of this. I probably want an int.
Yeah, because
Floats don't work
right.
for switch statements. Silly. Switch on int. That's what I want. And I want a random int in range, which will just drag that out and say random integer in a range. And what this will do, it'll give us a random integer between 0 and let's say 2. So it'll give us a different number every time, being 0, 1, or 2. And I'm going to add some pins in here. So I have 0, 1, and 2. So it'll give me one of these three every time it spawned.
Between the good block and like the bad block to run into.
Yeah, so we're going to have it spawn blank spaces. We'll probably also have it spawn a good space, and we're going to also probably spawn a bad wall. So good wall, bad wall, and a blank wall. And I don't ever want to use the default pin, so I'm going to remove that. Perfect. So let's just say if it's 1, we need something to spawn, which I haven't made anything to spawn yet. So come into here, and let's make a destructible block to burst through. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm going to come to the content window. It shows me all assets. I can also go to view options and say show engine content, and click on engine content and say I want a cube. And it'll find me all the cubes that are in the game. I want to find a cube that is usable. This cube, regular static. I'm going to right click this one and say create destructible mesh. And I'm going to move this into my content. And I'm going to move here because I don't want it inside the engine content. I just want it inside my content. And now that I got my cube, I no longer need the engine content. So I'm going to go to my view options and click on show engine content again, and that stuff will go away. So engine content is a bunch of assets that are that make up the Unreal editor. They have a bunch of primitive assets, and I needed a primitive like a cube in order to make my destruction. So cube here, let's get a nice 3/4 angle on it. I want to fracture this guy. So there's a nice fracture button, and you click it, and it instantly breaks. And I can scrub through and see it explode and see if those pieces are exactly what I want. So always looks fun to do. But for our guy, I want more fractures in there. So I'm going to go to cell size and go 100. And fracture it again. And
That's cool.
I might want a little bit more.
Oh my god!
Let's go like 500.
Oh my goodness. I never gone that high up. Ooh,
Yeah, that's
cool. Jesus.
going to be fun to break through. So I did a lot of them because my blocks are going to be bigger. I want there to be a nice little hole I can burst through. So I need a lot of little tiny pieces I can see. So that looks perfect. I'm going to save that. Make sure that's all saved up. And I'm now going to make this into a blueprint. So I can right click on him. And I can, there's a button, actually, create blueprint using this. Yes, I'd love to do that. Let's call it break all. And right there. All right, so for my break wall, I'm going to need to know when I've hit it. So I'm going to first look down here to make sure my X is in the right direction. I know where I'm going to be hitting it from. So I'm going to be hitting in this side probably, most likely. I'm going to add a component to this, and I'm going to add a component that will allow me to detect that I'm hitting it. So I'm going to add a collision box. And this collision box, I'm going to drag out here. And I'm going to make it slightly bigger.
Why didn't you want to use the collision on the actual? Oh, there is. It doesn't have.
I want to have this guy be. I'm going to change the collision on him to be none, because I don't want any of those destructible bits getting in my way as the character when I'm running through them.
Gotcha.
So he's going to be on no collision. So I'm going to need some collision for him to hit through. And I found that making a collision box has always worked better on stuff. And you can kind of very precisely say, I want them to collide right here.
Gotcha.
And he won't collide with the sides. He'll only collide with the front.
Gotcha.
So that my player won't get as frustrated when playing. That seems like a good collision box there. I'm going to go to the event graph. I'm going to get rid of all of this stuff. And I'm going to select my box. And down in the details panel on the bottom, there is a bunch of events that I can easily get to and call. I'm going to want the on-component begin overlap. So I click one of those guys out, and I can shrink that back down. And I want it to apply damage to my destructible guy, but only if I hit my player. So I'm going to drag one of these guys out, and I'm going to say apply radius damage destructible. That's exactly what I want. And Unreal knew what I was trying to do there, so it's grabbed my destructible and it's plugged it right into the target there. And I'm going to change the base damage to something more than 1. I do 10 just to make sure it's overkill. My impulse strength, I feel like 100. And my damage radius, I'm going to do 200. I usually, when I'm doing Unreal and I have no idea what numbers to put in, I usually start with 100 and work my way either up or down from there. I used to start at like 1 or 10, but I find that most of the things are scaled around 100, so it's good just to start at 100. For hurt origin, I could find my actor's location that I'm bumping into. So I can say other actor get location, get actor location, and I can plug that right into my hurt origin here.
Is hurt origin where it explodes from?
Yes, hurt origin is where it explodes from.
It's a weird name, hurt origin.
Well, I'm applying damage, so
Okay.
it's not like it's
more universal.
Yeah.
Ouchie origin.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure this won't work exactly how I think it's going to work, but I'll test it out anyways. I'm not even spawning them yet. I was making this guy so I can spawn them. Let's just drag one right in front of us so we can just see if it works. Blueprints. And then I want my break wall. It has a funny looking picture. And yay, my collision box in the right direction. Perfect.
Oh, it did break it.
It did break it. I just broke it really slowly, which is all right. Now that I know it breaks it all right, I'm going to come to press F on here. I also know that this level is spawning all right, so I'm going to delete that and delete this and apply to make sure. Yeah, perfect. So I don't even need basically anything in my level. Everything that's automatically spawns in for me is perfectly great and awesome. I'm going to come to my level blueprint at the top. And now I can make it spawn those awesome boxes to break. So I'm going to say right click and say spawn actor from class. This handy one again. And I'm going to spawn it. I'm going to spawn a break wall. And I can change the transform, but I believe it'll do a relative transform. Actually, let's make sure it's going to the right spot. So I'm going to split destruct again, and I'm going to make sure this is going to get location. Get actor location. It is right there. And this should get the location of my current block. So he should be coming in right where my level's coming in. And let's play that. And they're spawning a little low. Probably.
Yeah, when you put them in there, when you place them, you have to lift it up.
Yep. So I'm going to break this. So I'm going to break my vector. And I'm going to make sure this guy is lifted up. Along the Z, we're going to say add float. Yep, there we are. And we're going to add 100. And we're going to make a vector again. So it's a make vector. And we can plug this back in. Oop. So I've broken this vector apart, changed one value, and put it back together again, just like Humpty Dumpty. And I'll save that, compile it, and play. And oh,
There it is.
maybe I should make this fun more often. Yep.
Little man, you can do
I see him. I'm gonna get there.
I just read my daughter the little engine that quit today. So.
Yay!
They shattered.
Yeah. So so now I got all of my guys spawning. They're spawning in the right spot. I want to change how big they are. Because right now 1, 1, 1 is not very big. I'm going to say it's going to be 5 tall and 5 transform. I'm going to see if that's too large or. Oh,
Well,
they're breaking on their own.
Into the other walls.
It scaled the collision box too. I think.
Yep, which is exactly what I wanted, but I wanted the collision box to scale so I can hit it correctly, but now it's not actually checking for if it's touching me. It just hits anything and then applies damage. So we got a slight bug we have to buff out. So let's say if the branch. So if this condition is true, then it'll apply damage. Otherwise, it won't. So we can get our player. We can get our player. Let's get our player pawn. Why not? And say if our player pawn. Actually, we can go this way. We can say equals. So if this player pawn equals our other actor that we bumped into, then we will get that. So a little messy right now, but
So only if that box collides with the player
yeah.
is true, then it'll do it. If not, it will not.
Oh. Yeah, it looks like they're working.
Yeah.
It was a little slow. So in order to fix the slowness of it, let us do one of my favorite functions. And actually, let's try changing the impulse strength.
Yeah.
Let's make that like 500. See if that like makes them explode.
10,000.
Yeah, we can go.
See, 10,000.
9,000.
Yeah, let's go a nice 10,000.
Yeah, I'm the big winner.
Let's see if things explode.
There you go.
I would say even more.
Yeah,
I'm
we-
a juggernaut, bitch. Oh, well. I think we have like one viewer. Okay.
It's okay. It's gonna be on our.
So it'll be on there.
Damage radius.
I don't think I'm not juggernaut. Oh, that's cool. There's your point of hurdy.
So you can see my
Ouchie origin.
yeah my
ouchie origin.
yeah my ouchie origin, my hurt origin. You can see it's coming from the right direction, creating some nice shadows in my wall, and it's just fun to run through.
Very, very pink.
Yeah, I want it to be cool red, but we can change that color by changing our skylights. Instead of being pink, we can make it nice blood red. That's even pinkier. Oh, no, that's fine.
That's fine. That frame rate's like really good now. Is it the first when you go full screen?
Because that is a 4K.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm projecting to a very large screen, so it might be.
It's 60 frames per second right now.
But it's VSync to 60 frames per second, so it's probably a lot more. Oh, I got some errors in my editor. Oh, I got an actor that should be movable. Which actor is that?
It's got to be on one of your walls. Is it stolen so many times?
Yeah, but I'm not trying to move anybody. Maybe some of my. Let's make him movable. See if it gets rid of that air, or let's get makes this guy movable. He hasn't got anything like that. Oh, I'm technically placing the level, so maybe it thinks it's trying to be movable there.
There you go.
And let's also go to our light. We have directional light here, and let's make that movable. And that'll make our lighting work a little bit nicer for dynamic objects. And make it so we don't have to build lighting as much. And won't complain about building lighting. And our shadows start becoming a little fuzzier.
We just got a subscriber, Nathan Lau, former Game Wizard, is watching and just subscribed. So, bye, Nathan.
What's up, Nick?
It's gonna be like, so. He's like, what the hell?
I guess we don't care about building lighting.
Very cool.
All right, so
It's like a smart.
yeah, just explode through things. I'm going to go through my break wall and go into my events. And I'm going to add a timeline so that I can make it go in slow motion when I break a wall.
That's really cool.
So I'm going to add a new timeline. And it gives me the option to add it. So I'm going to call this slow mo time. So slow mo time. I can open this up, and I can add a float track here, and I can start editing out this curve that I can make. So one of the cool things about the timelines is you can make any curve you want, and it's very easy to make really juicy looking games out of it. So I'm going to press and hold Shift. I'm going to click on the line, and it'll add a keyframe there, and I'm going to add another keyframe at the other side of the line. I like doing that to start off with most of my lines I use in timeline, just so I can frame it easier. You can click this button, it'll frame it automatically, so I can click it and it'll pop into frame. I can also click my second node there, and I want it at the end of the time to go to 1. And when it starts out, I want it to start at probably like 0.2. And right now you can see it's very flat looking. I can select both points and right click it and change it to auto, so it's nice smooth curve there. I can also press, I'm going to have a slightly nicer curve to this because I think that we can make a more interesting curve. So I'm going to have my curve come down here and stay pretty slow motion yet during the beginning, and then kind of ramp up to maybe more than like a super speed mode. Oop, I accidentally moved my point too far to the left. And this one needs to be auto. And this one needs to be auto. And maybe I want this one to be like that. And right now it says 5 seconds of this, so that's probably far too much. I probably want like nearly nothing.
Yeah, you just want
Like I need like half a second.
yeah, just want that pop.
So I can change this length to 0.5, and I can see what half a second is. I go, oh yeah, wow, I'm doing this far wrong. Let me smooth out my look of it, and let's get these nodes actually in the right spot I want them to be. Oop. So there, this guy's gonna be there, and this guy, I'm gonna make it exactly at 1 and exactly at 0.5. And this value is at about 2. Let's take it to 3. And this guy is around 0.2. Let's take him to 0.3. And let's flatten this guy so we can look at the curve a little bit nicer. And let's take that so it's more extreme. And move this guy over so we have a nicer looking curve.
So what's that gonna do? It's gonna go from No
So it's
slow
gonna-
mo,
so it's
super
gonna-
slow-mo.
So 1 is our base time. So it's going to go from slow motion, then it's going to speed up and go to like super speed, then it's going to ramp back down. So hopefully that spike will give us a nice kind of feel to it, and make the slow motion feel poppy. That's what I was kind of go for with that kind of curve. I just want the pop in and out. And I'm going to say on update, it's going to get my time dilation. So set global time dilation. And how I'm going to dilate is going to be based on new track 0. I should have renamed that. So I can come to here and type in time dilation. And the cool thing is it just changed that time dilation there. And I can see it, I spelled dilation wrong. Good job. And let's see what happens when I hit a block. Let's see if the second one
That'd
works.
be full screen. Oh, I saw that.
So it slows down a bit and then goes forward, slows down a bit, goes forward. All right. Maybe I want it to not explode as much. So 20,000. And let's play through here. So that slow felt really good. And this next one, boom. Yeah, that feels really good. And it pops at the end. I like that. All right, next thing I see I want to change is my player character moves real slow. I don't like that. He also doesn't jump very high. So I'm going to come to my player character. I'm going to come to character movement, which is at the very bottom of all of his components. And I can change all sorts of parameters about how he moves and how quickly he moves and how high he jumps. So jump velocity right now he's at 600. There you go. It's nice, like double that, 1,200. And for max walk speed, we want max walk speed here. Let's go double that too. And let's come back to the game and see how that feels. So I can jump nice and high. And now I'm running nice and fast. Yeah, that's a whole lot more fun. Everything's actually happening at a decent rate of time. Boom. Yeah, I like that slow motion explosion. Yeah, Superman through it. Just bursting through buildings, killing people. Perfect. And I'm going to press F and look back my... Oh, not that one. Here. And I guess what I want to do now is my level could... I want to delete the things behind me so I'm not creating 1,000 things. And I don't want to be creating more than I need. I don't want to create 10,000 blocks in front of me when I'm never going to see them. That just seems a bit wasteful. So I'm going to come to my level maker and make sure that I never make more than I need.
Do you think that's what also the frame rate hit is too?
That will definitely hit my frame rate, the amount of blocks I have, but it'll hit my frame rate further down the line. It'll slowly kill it as it starts making more and more draw calls. So yeah, I'm gonna have them delete as I pass them, but first I'm gonna limit how many there are. So I'm gonna say if. So I'll only make new ones if I can make new ones, is the idea. So my condition here is going to be, let's do greater than. Actually, we're going to do less than. So I'm going to say if the number of blocks I have is less than what I need, then I'll make new blocks. Oops, didn't want to correct that. So I'm going to say, let's make just 100 of them. And number of blocks, I already got that variable right here. So I'm going to attach that right in there. I could have made this. So right now it's converting it into a float, and this could have been an integer greater than. If I was a little more nice about it, but it's not that bad of a deal. And that should be checking to see if I have too many blocks, then stop making them. I'm gonna change this to like 10 blocks so I can test it, see if it works. It should work, but it looks like yeah.
Yep.
There's just only a certain amount.
And it ended.
Yeah, it ended. There's not an infinite hallway anymore. Perfect. Just what I wanted. So next thing I want to do is I want to think about how I'm going to delete my blocks. Basically, I want to delete all the blocks that are behind me because I can't see them, so might as well get rid of them. I'm never going to be moving backwards. So that's a good idea. So how can I make something delete stuff that's behind me? The easiest way I can think of right now is on my third-person character, I just add a volume or collision.
Oh, that's smart. I was wondering if you could do that.
I'm just going to add a collision to him and set the collision behind me and the camera.
That's so much more smarter. I've been like, let me find out his math location and subtract it by like 10,000. Right. It's like, if touching this volume, delete.
So I'm just going to make this collision box nice and large. Let's just make it like very big. This so I can, comb everything up. Hey, let's also rename this so we can, remember what it is. Cone of death. It's a wall of death.
Made me spit out my coffee.
Yeah, here you go, Ruth. You want to call it the wall of death?
Yes.
It's appropriate.
Thank you.
Wall of death. I'm also, I still think it's too close, so I'm going to move it like negative 5,000 away. It doesn't need to be right next to me. It can be very far behind me and still do its job. I'm also going to make the X, let's say 10, just to make sure it can grab everything. I don't think we'll have a problem with that, but hey, why not? And now inside the script for it, I have to say when it hits something. So I'm going to come down to event, begin touch, begin overlap. I'm going to say destroy actor, destroy. I can't spell destroy today. Destroy actor, there you are. And I'm going to destroy the other actor. Now, hopefully this doesn't create any problems for my game. But if it does, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you can see it doesn't have that many. Well, actually, yeah, how do we test that? You can turn the camera around.
So you can see my frame rate is actually better now that I've limited it to 10.
Done better.
Well, I limited it to 10, so
Right.
There's only 10 things that can go wrong. But it should have actually. I'll show you how you can see if it's working. So let's run far enough for it to actually do something like here, and I'll pause the game. And I'm going to go to eject player. You can also see it if I make this window slightly bigger. I can eject from player, and now I can use the editor just regularly, and I can see what's going on. And I can also see that my blocks are being deleted behind me, and they're also exploding very nicely. So it seems like a cool game mode where you just pause and and I can repossess the player at any point and then continue the game if I wanted to. So my deleting is working properly, but I don't know if I should be making more of them yet. So my level maker says I'm only going to make 10 ever. I don't know if I should make more. So what I want to do is my number of blocks. I want to remove blocks whenever I delete one so that it can make more of them. I might have a problem in this step here because I'm saying it's times the number of blocks I have. So I might have to come up with a better solution to that other than my simple little, this works. So let's get into working on that. We go to Mr. third person character, which I'm actually annoyed by his name. So I'm going to change his name. I'm going to rename him to Leonidas. Can you help me spell Leonidas?
Yeah, it's like you stumped him.
Yeah, I'm going to call him
It's
Runner.
LEO and,
Runner Man.
There you go.
Perfect. Just spelled just like Leonidas.
Close.
And you can see when I changed it, it automatically changed the name here. It also finds it in any of my other blueprints and changes the name for me. So Unreal's real nice about that. And sometimes other way, if I typed anything manually, I would have to fix it. But also at the stage, we can go to, I want to go to my project settings, and I want to go to input, and I'm going to change my action mapping and input mapping for movement. So I'm not using forward at all, so I'm going to get rid of that. I'm using move right, so I'm going to keep that. I'm not using turn right. We're not using most of these things. So I'm just going to get rid of most of these. And I'm going to add, or so right now, move right has AD and gamepad. I can keep the gamepad in there because if I want to connect the controller later, it'd be nice and easy. But I can also add in arrow keys. Oh, let's type in left. So I can type in left here, and I can say, oh, left is going to be just like A, so A needs to be a -1 because that's how they set it up that way. And I can also add in right, and that's going to be set to 1, just like D is. So now when I use the game, I can use left and right as well as A and D. Now let's make jump. So I can use spacebar, or I can use the up arrow key. So if somebody wanted to, they can just use the arrow keys in order to control the whole game. I think that might get slightly nicer for people. I can also make it so maybe the mouse button also makes me jump. Someone want to do AD and mouse and not have to use the spacebar. Let's do that. Why not? Let's say mouse here. Nope, I missed mouse. Yeah, any key. When you press the any key, you just jump. Doesn't matter. You probably want to jump anyways. Mouse button. Mouse button. There we are. Found it. And now these keys are kind of configured, and I don't have to actually program anything. I just kind of set it up inside my action mapping and axis mapping, so that my keys are now different. So it's I know that works, but let's try it out. So I'm using the arrow keys now. I can move left and right, and I can also jump. Awesome. So super easy to change what controls your game uses. And you can even expose those for the player in some menu and just have them say, oh, I want to use this key for this, or whatever you want. Very easy to do. I was about to make my runner man, great name, check to see if I was deleting something important, like a level. And if I should, then tell my level maker to do something different. So let's say let's first find out if I'm even touching my level. Nope, I want to make a branch. You can just type branch, you don't have to type if. I just like typing if because I'm used to if statements. And I went a little too far. Connect up to you, little node. Thank you. So if it's true, I'm going to destroy it. And if it's false, let's also just say a message to ourselves so we don't have to pause and look behind us. Print string. And we're going to say it's destroyed. Yeah. So now I can see on my screen whether or not it's destroyed without having to pause and look behind myself. So that'll help me out.
I know you want one for you. I
Yeah,
think
yes,
you
question?
have a really well. A bit of logic that would make it really simple. Like as soon as you destroy actor, just cast to that other blueprint and say spawn another one. So for every one you destroy, you just cast one, and just
I
spawn
spawn a
Yeah.
new one.
it.
That's
You don't need to check anything. Yeah, exactly. Cast is like a broadcast.
so whenever I destroy. Oh, I don't know what actor I'm destroying.
Um,
So I could be destroying one of my.
oh, you're right. It could
my
be any one of
destructibles.
those fucking things.
So I want to first check to see if I'm destroying the right thing,
Gotcha.
and then I'm going to cast to it and say, "Hey, I've destroyed something."
There you go.
So that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Train of thought is going to this branch here is checking to see if I destroyed a level blueprint. So what I want to do is if other actor equal other object, and say if that object is a guy, which I've forgotten how to do. So I'm gonna cheat again. Garrett's cheating. He doesn't remember how to do it.
That's okay. I don't think we know how to do it, so you're at least most of the way there.
Yeah, I just forgotten how to talk to my my level blueprint.
Well, no pressure. You have 851 viewers right now. Really? No, I'm just making sure.
I saw it. You worried
All right, I gotta go Google what those.
Sunny? SUH. Yeah, SUH space PUD.
There it is.
That should be the first one.
This one?
Yeah. Watch it.
Oh, I was totally a lot smarter in my past life. I'm going to get rid of that and get rid of that. So I'm going to cast to this actor. Cast to, I'm going to tell you why I'm doing that in a second. Cast to level blue, level, that's our blueprint, there we are.
Oh, that's how you do that.
And what this is going to do is I'm going to talk to the guy that is touched. And if the thing that is destroyed was not my level blueprint, it's going to say the cast failed. Because I didn't cast to the level blueprint, I casted something else. So now I know I've casted a level blueprint. So I'm going to cheat and say, got it, I found a level blueprint. I'm going to do something with this level blueprint. I'm not actually going to do anything with it. Because I'm a silly person, and I'm going to cast to a my level creator, my level maker. Level maker blueprint. That one. Now this one, I still need an object to say who I'm talking to. So when you're casting things, you always need to say, who are you talking to? And I could try to find him, which sometimes can be a bit annoying and hard. But I'm going to say this is going to be a variable. And I'm going to store my level maker as inside my character so I can find him always. Level maker. And when I make a variable for an object, I have to make sure that I'm actually using an object. So I'm going to find an actor. Oh, and then I want an actor reference. Nope, I want this guy. And I'm going to get one of those, and it should connect right into my object. So now you can see it all works perfectly fine, but this is still empty. So I'm going to still need to set them up. which I'll do in a second. Yeah, which I can just make this edible so that I can, by clicking the little eyeball here, but and when it's edible, I can then drag it in there and assign it that way. And oh, I've clicked and I have a compiler error.
Yeah, it's an input access for.
Oh, because I didn't actually delete it, I just unpinned it. So since I deleted it out of my thing, I don't actually need these. Yep, that'll work fine. And after I've talked to Mr. Level Blueprint, I can grab its so I can grab its variables like to talk to, or I could also call a function inside there, which for this I might just call the function and say I have a new function that will just create ones whenever I delete one. And that's what I'll do. So in order to create a function, that's actually a really awesome thing to do. It's really easy to do too. You can go to your level maker, and I want to have an event dispatcher. And these are basically your broadcasts that you know in Scratch. And I'm going to have this one be called make new block. And make new block, I'm going to drag it out. I'm going to bind it. So when I make an event, I have to kind of say what's the event attached to. So I'm going to call it on the begin play. So it binds the event immediately. Oh, no, I want to connect to here. Connect, please. There we are. And then I have to say what event it needs to call. And I'm going to make a custom event. I'm going to add a custom event, and I'm going to call this new block. Actually, I like my events to be verbs, so make new block. Same as my bind, which is not the best idea in the world, but that'll work. And now with this, I could say just do that. And it will take this execution pin, run along this way, say spawn, I need to grab all this stuff, and I don't actually have to rewrite this. Which is cool. And this is how it'll spawn initially. Which that actually seems like a nice way to do it. I'm cool with that. And it doesn't actually work yet, so I'm going to go back to my runnerman and say I want to call that. I'll make new blueprint block, and I want to call it from this man probably. That sounds right. And that should totally work. Now we just have to worry about destroying the guys behind us and telling us we destroyed them. Let's see what this adventure took us to. Boom.
Oh yeah, I see you making some stuff. Maybe I don't.
Maybe you
No, I
don't.
do.
I don't
No,
think
I
you do.
don't. I thought I did.
Yeah, I didn't see the. Also, does it say destroyed ever? Because I didn't see it say destroyed.
Wonder
Yeah,
if
so it's
I
also
ever
not destroying
destroyed here.
Nope.
Nope. Right there.
It's not destroying him.
It used to.
Yeah, it used to. But I've now stringed it up to do all this stuff.
Oh, right. Maybe there's a
My level blueprint is still empty. My level maker.
Oh.
So it's actually trying to talk to nothing at the moment. Which, that makes total sense to me, because I was totally going to set that up later and then decide to never set it up. And Mr. Runnerman. Usually you can see it on the right side over here. I think I have to not be in the blueprint editor for it to see it. Like out here. Level maker default. I want to, I'm going to lock this so I don't deselect Mr. Runnerman. I'm going to find this guy here, select him, and then I'm going to come to level maker, and I can just pick it from the scene. Boop. I didn't even need to lock him. Awesome.
I've never done any of this before.
So now level maker is tied to the right guy. So that this guy is all good and well and done. Hopefully I can delete him now and he should be set up correctly. I don't know. I've forgotten. But it might just be an instance of him that's set up correctly. Hey, let's delete him. Nope, I don't want to delete asset. I just want to delete this guy here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And not deleting guys behind me. I should probably log to see if I have a level maker. Come on. What I can also do, if I'm like feeling extra lazy, is say event begin play. We are going to spawn a level spawn actor. I think I ahead of myself there. We're going to spawn actor from class. And we are going to choose the class of level maker blueprint. And I don't care where it spawns it, so I'm not going to say. And I'm going to right click this value here and promote it to a variable. Actually, I don't even need to promote it to variable. I can just use my old variable and say get set and set this variable right up here. And I can delete the other guy from the scene. And now it's talking to it directly inside the script. I'm putting it there, which might be an interesting way of doing it. Error. Well, spawn transform pin is invalid. All right. Split struct pin. Hey, it's valid now. They wanted me to put numbers in there. So when you split it apart, you can edit the numbers.
So it seems like there's just trouble talking between blueprints. If you would have made it all within the character.
Usually what I'll do is, in order to talk between blueprints, I'll use the level blueprint or the game mode blueprint and have the game mode blueprint store all that. Oh, that's what I should have done. Yeah, I could have put in the game mode blueprint. And I can have it talk to the game mode blueprint whenever it needs to find that value. Because everything can easily talk to the level blueprint. Well, everything can really easily talk to the game mode blueprint because it's higher up in the blueprint. Which that would have worked a lot better than doing this way. But this way works too. If I was making a bigger game, I would definitely put it inside my game mode and store most of my variables there. Which we'll actually get. I'll probably do that next. We'll show you guys about that. I'll make some score and I'll store it in our game mode and do it that way. So now that level maker is probably correct, I'm going to go to my entitled tab. Click. I have shift reflexes on saving, like whenever I like press any buttons on this game. Even though like it doesn't crash like nearly ever, I just like saving a lot. Destroyed 12. Destroyed 13, 16, 18.
Yeah, it's working out. Woo. Can you walk us through that now that we've gotten there?
Yeah,
Because
so
I lost
the train of thought.
on that one.
Yeah. All right. So we'll walk us back in through making our levels infinite.
Still with the slow mo, even though you're not actually hearing the words.
Yeah, I saw that bug and I was like, okay, just something's causing slow mo somewhere.
I know my building one, when I was scaling them, the collision boxes would scale weirdly. You know, when you're spawning them and scaling, it's like they might be hitting a collision box still.
So how this all works is on my character, I've got a giant destroy volume behind me. It's quite a distance behind me, so I never see it. And then inside the event graph, I have whenever anything hits it, I cast to my level blueprint.
Because your level blueprint holds what again?
My level blueprint is just the thing that I want to kill. So by casting, so that's the thing that I just deleted or trying to delete. So I'm casting to that object, and it might not be that object. So if it's not that object, the cast just fails and it does nothing. But if it does cast that object, I know I've actually hit something that I wanted to.
Gotcha.
So this is like a really lazy cheat way to do it. It's probably not as efficient because now I'm doing a cast and cast, more resource intensive than other things, but it happens all in one block, so that's good. Oh, I could have done it is valid, but I did not do that either. So then I did a cast to my level maker, which is what I actually wanted to talk to. But I only wanted to talk to my level maker if I talked to the right thing beforehand. And for my level maker, which we set up by creating our own, which I really should go into there and just delete my other one that I had before to make sure there's not two of them. So delete that guy, save, play. All right, cool. So I've created a level maker inside my scripts.
So I don't understand the level
So-
maker creation. So that's just so you can talk that.
Yeah, I just wanted to grab the variable out of it, and if I spawn it, I can easily get the return value. So I was just like, it's the quickest way my mind is thinking right now to talk to it. Later down the line, when I would clean up the game, I'd move that to a better place and not have it inside here because I don't want to use my event begin play on my character for something silly like this. I probably want to save it for maybe something more relevant. Then I call a function inside of that script and destroy the mesh behind me.
Right.
And
which call the function is gonna then spawn the new one.
Yeah, which right now, if you look at this, it actually doesn't destroy anything but my level, but there's nothing else really to destroy. So maybe that's all right. I could say on cast fail, destroy the object too. So if it'll destroy everything. And they also got rid of my log there. And on level maker, I have a function that just kind of shortcuts this branch here and it says spawn it. Now this event tick, I actually probably don't need the event tick anymore because I'm only doing this for the beginning of the game. So this is very, very wasteful to be calling and searching through this every frame of the game. So I can change this out for an event begin play. And then say, let's actually use a little loop in there instead of a branch. So it's loop.
Say hi to Happy Donuts.
Happy Donuts.
Yeah.
Hi, Happy Donuts. we're going to do let's do a while loop. So this while loop will keep going to a condition has occurred. And I already got a condition ready for it. So I'm just going to plug that right in and talk to it just like that. So loop body should just connect right into my spawn actor blueprint right there. And I will get rid of this and this as I no longer need it. So this while loop will keep going until I've gotten 10 blocks. So that works perfectly great. And I should always have around 10 blocks on screen, which is also awesome. Yeah, nice and simple. And I've broken something again. Oh, I'm using gameplay over there. Oh no. All right. We're going to throw you in here. Congratulations. You have a new home. And you've been erased from existence. All right. And let's clean that up a bit. Or something like that. That looks nice and actually tidy. Okay. Does anybody have any questions so far? How my level's working?
I think it's 8:50. I don't think you want to do a intermission.
Yeah, no little intermission here. I'll pause the stream or basically the stream going just so I don't actually mess the thing up.
Perfect.
I'll just play through the game a little bit and get some water.
I do have a question now.
Yes. Shoot.
Sorry.
Sup? In this part of the video, you should probably skip like 5 minutes ahead. And I'll make sure everything's saved up. And my project button clicks correctly. My project settings. Did I name my map Untitled? I did. I thought I named it like first level. I was like, why does it say Untitled here?
Yeah, you put it in the search menu. So.
First level. There we are. That was bothering me for a while. I like how my frame rate drops whenever I hover over settings.
Wow, yeah, it just dies.
I'm
60 to like 12. Oh god, it goes down to 5. Pull it over first, like, see how low it goes. 6, 7.
it hovers around 7. It's very interesting. That's probably why the game starts out really slow. It's because like I'm hovering over the menu for some reason. Yeah, this computer's got some issues somewhere. Well, now I figured out my frame rate issue. Just don't touch the menu. I thought it was something wrong with my game. Running. Jump. All righty. I'm just jumping over these blocks.
No.
Boom. Boom. Boom.
Garrett,
Yeah.
you should pretend that you're a Let's Play YouTuber right now.
Yeah, so I'm playing this game. It's like super hardcore right now. You should like, favorite, and subscribe. Yeah, this game's just amazing. I'm having a ball.
What you need to do is break through something and randomly start screaming.
It's good. Oh! Oh my god! It's so amazing! Yes! I would just be screaming too much.
Yeah, you will.
If you start screaming uncontrollably, we might get more viewers. They might be 7,
Boom.
but they're viewers nonetheless. Bless you.
You've been blessed. The power of Christ.
What was I going to do next? Totally forgot.
Score.
Score? Oh yeah, score. What else do I have to do? Score. Probably retexture those boxes that I break through.
Make the boxes go up into the air so you're jumping mechanic actually makes sense.
Oh yeah, I can I should have a like dynamic scale to my boxes, and maybe I can also probably do my level 2. But
Yeah, you should also, before I score, make the ones that will stop you.
yeah, I probably have. We need a lose condition. You're right. That's what I'm gonna do next is a lose
If
condition.
it's a constant win condition, then there's
Yeah.
no point to play.
That's.
Just press play and win.
I am. I'm trying so hard right now to
It would be
beat
like
this game.
the contest that Nintendo had when they wanted the controls for the Wii. Someone had entered in a ball that just had one button that says win.
Hey Garrett, can you make it not spawn level for a little bit?
Like right now.
No, like skip 1 or 2 so you have a gap you can jump over.
I could. But I have to write some more code for that. I can say like there's a potential for it to not spawn one, but I think it spawned one.
Yeah, that could be cool, but I don't know.
I can just do a split thing. But I would like to do some sort of weighted.
Yeah.
How come they're how come it's like almost the entire block exploding and not just like a hole being created?
Because I set my damage radius to be like 200,
Oh, okay.
so I have a giant. I could tune my damage radius to be more person sized, which yeah, let's do it right now. We'll stop that and we'll go to my break wall and say my damage radius is 100 and compile. And now let's see if I make people size holes. Yeah,
Yay!
that's better.
Can you make it to where the wall doesn't actually fall through the level? the moment it breaks, it has complete loss of physics, and then afterwards it regains those after they set it.
I could make it so it collides with the walls and stuff, but
But that means to turn on the collisions back, and once they're set, they're movable.
well, yeah, the collisions of this object, they act strangely. I'll show you guys what it looks like.
I
Um,
like destructive objects, but it's such that they don't move after they break.
well,
But it's not that I've been able to.
you can say collision and set this to destructible collisions, and you'll see they'll explode funnily. And it stops me.
So what did you do again?
So I set the collisions on the blocks, and since I'm in the hallway, it just like makes it annoying to run through. So it's better just not have collisions on those at all, and not worry about hitting them and all. So I can just burst through them and feel like I'm unstoppable. That's what I wanted out of this, is unstoppable force that burst through them.
Lower your mouse.
Fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My frame rate.
That was it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh, and nope, and nope.
So
And
you
nope.
can do your own slow-mo then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slow motion in frames. Yeah, it's any hover text.
Anything that brings up
A menu.
menu. Because it's found.
Yeah, it's once I don't.
Brings up the menu.
Alright, it's been like more than 5 minutes.
All right, it's been like 10 minutes, I guess. I'll stop doing that. And it says we need to rebuild the lighting. I should have done that during the break, but I didn't, so I'm not going to now. We are going to talk about adding score to the game. Oh, actually, we're going to not add score. We're going to add a lose condition. Lose condition. Lose condition. So I'm going to go to my blueprints. I got a break wall. I might as well just duplicate it and make a one that's a solid wall. And Mr. Solid Wall, I'm not want destructible on him because he's not going to be destructible. Delete and add components. Cube. And my hierarchy is all weird. And get my x-axis in the right direction. My cube is in a funny spot. Or is it? All right. That's in a funny spot. All right. That looks good for a cube. Bad blueprint. Bad blueprint. It's trying to tell me that I have no radius and let's get rid of that timeline. We still want to say if I'm hitting the player. We still wanted to say we don't want the player location, but sure. Let's have time dilation. I like that. Let's say time dilation's 0.1, so it's just really slow. And it does that for forever. Yeah, sounds great. Let's also make it so we can like press jump and it'll restart the game. So we can say input jump, put action jump, and if it's pressed, we will open level. And what level should we open? We can either open first level or let's just say first level to step in. First level. And we have to click on this guy and make sure he's not consuming input, because if it consumes the input, then I can't actually jump. It will. Well, now if I jump, I will start the game every time, which is a slight problem. So I probably want to have an if in here that says if condition, then open level. And what's this? Let's just make a stupid, silly condition over here. Let's make a variable called restart question mark. Actually, awesome. And let's say we set restart to no, connect, please. Restart to true. So I'll set restart to true, and I'll check. I'll get my restart over here. Get, and if my restart's true, then when I press space, it'll open the level. Okay, cool. I still need to spawn this box. It'll look exactly the same as my other box at the moment, probably, which would be hilarious. One kills me, one doesn't. So that's definitely next thing we need to fix. But let's make sure it spawns correctly by checking out this guy over here. Let's also like pimp out respawn, so it like does some cooler things. So I'm going to select all of these guys and right click it and say collapse to function, because they're getting a bit wildly for me. And then call this one spawn break block. Spawn break block. Nice and compact, and I can double click it and go inside of it and see what it's doing. That like there. This guy's over here. Make sure it's all clean looking. Let's have our transform do something cooler than just be 5 and 5. We can have a little bit of randomness in there, and we can have our location be slightly random too. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to make a vector, and the vector I'm going to be making, I had 5 and 5 in here before for y and z. So I'm going to say this y is going to get a random random float in range. And now I can say, let's go up to 7 and 3. So it's going to make a random float between 7 and 3. That's awesome. Now I want to do the same thing for Z, but I want to use a different random number. So I'm going to press Control and W and make a new one that has the same values as I just made. And I'm going to connect that in there. So these numbers will generate differently. So I'll have rectangles, hopefully not squares. And for location, these are all going to be right in the middle at the moment. So I want to give it a random Y and Z. So right now it's got 100. So let's give that a random float in range. So maybe minimum of 100, maximum of 600. Let's do 1,000. Still 1,000. And then I can also do a random Y in there. That I can say, but let's just see if those all work right now. I did a bunch of changes. Oh, I see nothing.
Uh,
Quite distinctly nothing. So I'm gonna look at my scale first. I'm gonna make sure that's 1.
What's the
And
difference between the 0 and the 1?
0 scale is like non-existent, so I bet you is my problem.
1 is a number that exists.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And I'm glad that you said that into the mic. Because otherwise our people at home won't know.
Yeah. So now I got things that spawn way up in the sky, spawn way down low. They also spawn at funny rectangle shapes that are fun to burst through. They're wider, all around better. More interesting than all in the same spot.
You should make some of them really skinny too.
Boom.
Like,
They're all the same widths, I guess, but yeah, I could make them some fat ones. Let's do that. Why not? Random float in range. And I want from 1 to 5. Let's see if these are too fat. They're pretty cubey. Yeah, you can't really see through them though. So I think nice and skinny is the way to go. So I'll get rid of this.
maybe make them more transparent so they're like glass. Or like different color, like bluish glass.
All right, so that's,
Yeah, do that here.
yeah, making them transparent could be a material if I wanted to see through them, which that'd be kind of cool. We might play around with make them semi-transparent when we make the material in a second. I like how this works. So I'm going to come back to here. I'm going to duplicate it. And I can actually I'm going to, I want to rename it. Maybe I have to do it over here. Duplicate. Yeah. Spawn solid block. And solid block I can drag out and connect right into here. And if I come into solid block, I want to change it from break wall to solid wall. Perfect. And now let's see if we randomly die. Down looks like it's going to kill me. Down looks like it's going to kill me. But they're not killing me.
But they look like they're going to kill you.
Yeah, they're definitely different colors than my breaky walls. So my collision box. Oh. So that I want to go to my solid wall and let's disable input when I hit it so I know it's bad. Let's also tell us it's bad by just printing out that it's bad. Print hello. That doesn't sound bad. Bad, evil. Evil. Yeah. All right. So now we know by printing string it's bad and evil. I'm going to disable input on not the target myself. I'm going to try my player character. So I'm going to get player controller. And I'm going to try to get player character. And I'm going to plug both these into here. And plug into there, please, please, please. There we are. Disable input. So now when I hit one of these bad balls, it disables the input. Maybe I want to have a buffer so I don't just immediately run right into one. But I'm actually still being able to input, so I don't know if that's just, a thing.
I think it's because the collision.
Yeah, I think the collision's in my way. So a slight problem. We can fix that. Let's just fix that right now. I don't want to select that one. So I'm pressing F and I go to the object. We are going to be moving this and this. -1,000. That's slightly backwards. That seems good. Okay, cool. Oh, I am slow motion. I can't press any buttons. I disabled my input, which disabling the input makes it so I can't actually redo my level. Slightly awkward there. But I do know I did it in the right spot. I just know I did on the Y instead of the X because I got lost at some point in my life and didn't do along the right axis. So now I'm looking at my bottom. It's along this red line here or my X here, and it should be in the right spot. I can also maybe put like a little box in front here so I can see it visually in the game. All right. Oh, that made me really high up to get.
There you go.
All right. Cool. All right. I want to go back to my break wall. And break wall. Solid wall. Yep, solid wall here. And maybe instead of disabling my input, because that obviously creates some problems, I want to, let's do a ragdoll instead. That'll have potentially the same effect because my ragdoll character will fly away from my actual body. So rag doll. Oh god, it's like apply physics. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some things to set that up. Let's do that now. So my mesh here, I want to make my mesh physics, collision, character mesh, ragdoll. I don't have any bad negative effects at any point in my life. And then I'm going to go back to my solid wall and I'm going to say I want to get my player character, and then I'm going to get the mesh of that character. So I'm going to get the mesh. Get skeletal mesh. That's probably, nope, not what I wanted. I want to get like a node like this. Yeah. Cheaty ways to get there. Now from this mesh, I want to say ragdoll. Ragdoll, doll. What is it called? It was called, Garrett will remember once he cheats and looks over at what it's called. Set simulate physics. That's totally, that means ragdoll to everybody out there.
What's it mean? Or what's it say?
Set simulate physics.
Set simulate physics. Nice.
Which basically means my character is going to be all simulated physicsy. And since I set his collision to ragdoll, he's gonna flop around a little.
What's that little red checkbox thing? Is that just the turn on, turn off?
Yeah, that will set the simulate physics to on, and that should make everything beautiful. So now when I press play, and I run into a conveniently spaced block, I'll fly off.
Superman!
Goodbye. Yep, totally awkward.
Does space work now?
Oh, that's a great question. That's totally what I was originally testing.
That doesn't look like it.
Oh, interesting. So it totally wasn't my disable input, which I totally thought it was. We're gonna go to solid wall self. We're gonna make sure input is set for player 0 and it's not blocked. And I am doing everything correct there. And I was trying to just, well, fly off, press space, and restart. Cool. That's what it was. So what I did was I made sure on this asset that on the self, the input was actually receiving input. Input was disabled as default. And I forgot to say, yeah, take my input. All right, let's make those textures for those two objects so we know what we're looking at. That sounds like a great idea. So I'm going to come and make a new folder. And we're going to call this folder textures. I can call it materials because that's a better name, but I totally typed textures and I'm not going to rename it. And I'm going to put materials in my texture folder. I'm going to call this good wall. And let's open up good wall. And let's make it semi-transparent.
Breakable. Non-breakable.
Semi-transparent, we go to translucent. I can also use mask, but I'm going to go with translucent.
You'd have to have
I'd have to have,
one mask.
well, I was going to use it. I was going to cheat it. So I could say 0.5 and this number here and say my opacity is 0.5 and apply it. And I believe it should be semi-transparent now.
Can you make it also like
I can also
bluish?
press and hold 3 and get a color out of here and make it slightly different color. And let's make it that bluish. That's a violet. It's like an indigo.
I like that.
Lilac, maybe?
Yeah, that's a bluish.
Bluish, semi-transparent. Perfect.
Yeah, it's like half transparent, so it's like, not the best transparency. And I'm gonna go to my break wall. I'm gonna go to my destructible, and I'm gonna go down to material. There's two materials for destructibles: the outside and the inside. So the outside is going to be good wall, and it's going to compile those shaders. It counts down from like a really big number to 0, and once it hits 0, the shaders will compiled, and I can see it. So I want to see what it looks like here first. We'll
Why are
wait
you
for.
having the bad wall look like the good wall on the outside?
This is the good wall.
Oh, it is? Sorry, I thought you were good wall.
Brick wall.
I
We have
thought
solid
you
wall.
Brick wall before. Not that.
Yeah, I mean I could. Ooh,
Whoa.
kind of cool.
Oh, it's really cool.
All right, I need a good wall inside. So let's just duplicate this and make it reddish hue, maybe a light reddish, and still transparent. Because why not? And let's go to our good wall and our break wall. My naming conventions. Good job. And we're going to put in good wall 2. And compile. And let's see if this says horrible things to our frame rate. Oh, yep, take my mouse off the thing.
Whoa. It goes from
Oh.
clear to just blood.
Yeah. We might want to make the transparency of the red. Oh yeah, already fun.
Do it again. Yeah, that just becomes a bloody mess. Great. Like the wall is dripping with blood. Ugh.
It's not actually doing anything horrible to our frame rate, which is that's awesome to hear.
And
Let's change our good wall 2 to be like extra transparent. So 0.1. I believe that's the right direction to go in. It's really easy to do halfway, but
It's more of a matter of because of how
I'm
many
pretty sure we have to go
fractures
the
you
other
have.
direction. But
It's a matter of how many fractures you have in it.
oh,
And
it's
so
just pretty
just
darn dense.
covering up itself over time.
Yeah, it's just you see only the red bits in the middle.
So I don't think it'll matter how.
There we
There
are.
it goes. Okay.
Boom. So if I made like an actual better shader for glass, this would like look probably way cooler. That's just look, this nice free open area. No actual bad things here. I like this world. That's an evil wall. Oh, thank you.
Israel, this is great. It's all nice and free.
And sorry, you can't go through here.
Your high score is over now.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed playing. If you'd like to like, comment, subscribe, rate a 5-star on the App Store.
God, I hate those.
Oh, another one.
Yeah.
You should probably have it so that one doesn't get that high at all.
Yeah, we'll adjust those.
Was in its height was not exactly its position.
So let's get rid of our good wall material up here at the top so I can find what I'm doing up here. I'm cool with this glass. I don't need this anymore. Do a little bit of cleaning up here. Level blueprint, level. So this is my solid walls. I'm going to make it so they don't get as big. 5 and 5. Yay. Actually, I might keep the 7. Just so, it can potentially cover the entire thing I have to jump over. That sounds cool. And the nice thing about working with procedural levels is I just change it there and it never happens ever again. And I don't have to worry about making it different or having like 1,000 levels that are I can just make it functional, make all my levels. All right, I'm going to want something better than white walls for bad walls, I think.
Maybe like a semi-transparent, really dark color, like blackish.
Goodbye. All right. So I'm going to make a material, and we're going to call this bad wall. And let's make this material have metallic. And let's make it have 1. Oh, it also needs specularity probably.
No, it's reflecting whatever's on the environment there, but because it's all black there, you're not seeing it.
Oh, I've changed it to a teapot.
And you can't really change it. You can't really see what it is.
It looks great. Apply it. Solid wall. Solid wall viewport. Go to cube. I don't want to change my mesh. I want to change my this to bad wall. Look at that deep dark black. It's soulless. Yeah, look at those soulless walls. Oh. Awkward.
Jump.
Ah. Okay. Yeah, maybe I need to slightly adjust that.
Because your base color is 0 right now. But
Yeah. It looks like it was electrocuting me there for a second.
Can I take it, make it pulse?
I could make it pulse, like pulse red or something like that. Let's do that. Let's try to do some like fancier material in here. Let's get rid of this because this is silly, and have it pulse red from black. So we have black there. Let's also bringing a red. So how I brought those both in was I was holding 3 and clicking.
Still black.
Yeah. Change that to red. Change this to red. And press OK. And that's like not the evilest red you've ever seen. It's pretty like, mundane looking red. And I'm going to make a lerp. And I press L and clicked there, and it makes you a lerp. Lerps is a very sounding word, odd sounding word. It stands for linear interpolation, which is a very scary sounding word, but it basically means it's going to blend between these two things. So I'm going to blend between black and red, and I'm going to set that as my base color, which is going to do nothing until I give it how much I want it to blend by. So that's what alpha is how much I want it to blend by. So I want to blend over time, so I'm going to give a time increment. And you can just drag that in there, but it's not going to work like how you think it should work. So you want to assign it first. So, why does it go purple?
It's never going to show up exactly.
So we're going to grab a sign here. There's a regular sign, please. And we're going to, what a sign does, it'll wave up and downwards in between our two values. So our sign is actually working a little bit weird right now. That's because our sign actually goes into the negatives. So it goes from -1 to 1. And this value wants a 0 to 1. So I'm just going to make our sign to a power of 2. And that should make our sign smoother, but a little bit quicker. So I can say how quickly I want this to happen by changing time there and our sign period to 10. And I can configure how quickly I want this to happen. That seems fine. We'll see how fine it is in a second. We can also snap this into an emissive color and see if we want it to glow a little. Yeah, good point. We should maybe make this a little faster because we'll be moving very quickly. And let's get this rid of emissive right now, just so we don't have too much stuff going on. And let's see if it's too good, too great, too amazing.
They can't tell the pulse through the glass.
Yeah, it's pretty slow. And there's also a lot of death right there.
Seriously.
Like, where's all my non-death?
There's a non-death. There's a giant non-death. Oh, you can't tell. I think red's a bad color because your wall on the left is very red. Yeah.
Yeah, let's change the color on the wall. It's lived its time. It's had a great time being red. So I selected my skylight, which is the color of my shadows. And shadows always look good when they're like nice, cold, cool colors. And let's not go too cool with it. And if you also make your directional light just a slight bit orange, it's gonna look beautiful. Ooh, maybe a little too much. Yeah, a little too much blue in there. I'll make the blue lighter.
Now your glasses really, blend it all.
The blue needs to be lighter. So let's go to our. I overdid it. I made it very, very dark. Yeah, this is soft blue. Yeah, nice orangey light there. But yeah, an hourglass blends in a little bit, but I'm fine with that. We can always change the colors a little bit later to align with our color theory that we're gonna potentially have for a lot of glass. This is great. Though I missed it all.
I almost want like a slide feature considering how many times they've the blocks been like an inch above the ground.
Or it's like inch above.
Yeah, it'd be nice to just slide underneath the blocks
Yeah.
and make it like a true infinite runner. We have jump and slide.
Yeah, but
You need a
have
slide
animations for
animation.
I do not have animations for sliding, so
What you would do is the time for right now, just lower the.
yeah, I'd contact my artist and be like, "Yo, I need slide animations. I just decided," and he'd be like, "Oh, it's gonna add production value to your project there," and I'm like, "I don't care." Do you know how awesome that would be?
Right now, what you can do is just shrink the collision ball so that you push down and just have a shrink that.
Yeah, I could also adjust the spawn location so it's always
Yeah.
a bit nicer. And I can go in and adjust my parameters there. I was about to change something in my game. I guess let's finish up with a. I'll show you guys how to tell the player at the end that they need to press space, and I'll show you a little bit of widgets doing so. So inside of here, I'm going to create a new class, which I can't see. We're going to create a widget. No, I can't just type it. My taskbar is in the way. Go up there, please. That's still in the way. I'll scroll down. I will go into user interface and widget blueprint, and it's be called dead. So I can make a widget, and I can kind of design it however I want it to look. We'll just have a button in the middle of the screen that is reddish. Nope, that's not right color. Reddish. And our button, let's put a text on a button. So text. And let's have our text not be red. Silly color. And be white. And our text is going to be not that tiny, but let's say 32. I can see it 32 pixels for font size. And not big enough. 64. That's big enough. And I'm going to change the text from text block to press jump. Press jump. Why not? Now that's right there on the screen. Make sure it's centerish. All right, press jump. And I can probably also make it so they can click it, but I might not add that because I'm lazy. And let's go to our bad wall. Bad wall, not material. Let's go to our solid wall and say, delete that, our print string there. And let's add to viewport. Add viewport. Maybe I need to actually call my get class dead blueprint. Actually, let me. I don't want to do that. I want to create a widget. Yeah, that's what I want. Now I want create a widget. Sure. Let's say dead. And connect to there. Connect to there. Use my execution pin. And I want to then add a viewport. There you are. And like that. So what I've been using all night is the context sensitive window. So if I drag out here, it automatically tries to search for me of stuff that I can do with that line. And so when I don't see add to viewport, I know I'm missing something, that it didn't actually create a widget first for it to actually talk to this. So what I did there is, oh, it's not finding add to viewport, which I know exists. Therefore, I might be missing a block for it to talk to. So I knew I had to create the block to talk to first. And that goes for most of this other stuff. When I drag out, it'll drag out something that I can use. It will never tell me to use something I can't. And let's see if I play, if I can see that menu I just pulled up. I don't see the window. I did a flip. I'm going to do 2 flips. I'm too lazy. So solid wall, add to viewport, set, restart, global dilation, class, dead, owner, player. Add to viewport. This is saved. Let's press jump on there. Pretty obvious. I don't think I need anything on the graph because it's not doing anything.
Is it because you have your death timer indefinite?
My death timer is indefinite?
Because you have just said when you first made it that you don't have it for the dilation.
The dilation just slows the game down, so it should not be the dilation there. It could be, I mean, we can just say this happens first.
Yeah.
But we can also say, let's bring our print string back. And it should say hello to me now. Actually, I don't even need to leave here. I can just play from here. We'll just run until we hit something. All right, adding a print string fixed my issue. I'll just delete the print string and pretend it's still fixed. I was like, that totally should work correctly. Jump. Awesome. Boom. We can probably make that break look cooler with the different materials. Glass. I don't know. I like the glass being transparent to look through at first.
And
Then dead. And dead. So what I can also do is whenever I break through a wall, I can easily change the speed my player moves at. So I'll show you guys how to do that. So let's make ourselves move faster if we hit a wall. And then I'll call it done. There would say get player, get player character. Then we're going to get move and grab that just because I want that there. And I'm feeling slightly lazy into actually finding this block. Then character movement, I'm going to talk to its max walk speed. So max speed. Get max speed. I'm going to say set max fly speed, set max walk speed. Set max walk speed. Awesome. So now when I connect that there and there, I can set my max walk speed to be, let's say I get max walk speed. And let's add a number to that. So let's say add float. We are going to add 100 and connect it out to there. And let's drag everything out so we can see what's going on. So what's going on here is first I'm getting my player character, then I'm finding his player movement, which is this node at the bottom here. And then that node, I knew the name for my walk speed, which was up here, was called max walk speed. And I can increase that number dynamically with my code right here. And I'm just, every time I break through a wall, I'm making that number 100 bigger. So eventually it'll go very, very quickly and hopefully make my game harder whenever I break through one of these glass walls.
Oh, that's cool.
Ooh. Yeah, I should have thought one coming.
That's why it's glass here.
Also, my press jump didn't
How
pop
do
up.
you make the glass get bloody? Like, is that the interior?
Yeah, it's
material?
interior color. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, don't jump to glass, kids. You'll get bloody.
Not you, just glass.
That could be a version of this game where it's just like, ah!
Just glass sticking out of you.
Action sports superhero. Just being pushed through glass, through a wall the entire game.
Oh, I didn't live to that. But
So you're increasing the play.
yeah, so my player speed is increasing every one of these things I hit, and I believe I'm going quicker now. I feel it. Just ever so slightly.
Oh Jesus! Oh,
Guys,
Saved by the bell. You do look like you're going slightly faster.
yeah,
Your
left.
time is actually increased a lot.
yeah. The hang time. That's because he's going
Yeah.
quicker.
So I keep bouncing off the edges of these things, and since my collision box for them is,
Oh, you're done.
yeah, I'm done. I can keep playing because I didn't disable my input this time. I jump again.
Done.
Boom. Splat. All right, that's awesome. Sorry getting distracted playing the game. I want to build that lighting because that seems like a good thing to do. See how our lighting actually looks near the end of our game, and we'll call that a wrap for it. Encoding textures. This shouldn't take too long at all. Oh. And is it done? Is it going to still say I've... Perfect. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Look at those shadows. Look at that wall. Oh, it's actually, before I call it a wrap, I'm going to fix the camera so it follows the player when he dies. Because right now, I die and I fly off into the distance, or my camera keeps following something else. So to fix that, I can go Mr. Rudderman, which is where my camera's at. Let's go to the viewport, make sure I don't actually totally mess up anything too badly. And I have my camera boom and camera follow. And right now they're parented under the runner mesh, runner self. I think all I need to do is parent them under the mesh, and then they'll be stuck to the mesh as it's flying around. So I'm going to do that and see what happens. Might break my hierarchy of my camera. It did. So now I have to fix the hierarchy of my camera. So my camera's actually still underneath my boom. And my camera is off the wrong spot over there. So let's make sure our camera's location is 0 and 0. And its rotation is 0. And now it's actually on top of my boom again. I don't know why I decided to go way over there. So now hopefully when I die, my camera will stick with my player. Smash. Oh, missed that one. I should have died there. Might as well go a little bit further.
This game demands a slide or a Superman.
Yeah, it uses slide or some sort of thing that'd be nicer.
Like
Also,
vertical
camera is
jump.
totally following my character now. It's like, up close and personal with him.
That's pretty cool looking.
It still looks like he's getting crushed.
I like the little Unreal logo on his chest.
Yeah.
That's their default little
Yeah.
guy.
Where'd you get that press jump from?
I made the press jump.
Where at the press jump?
You missed it.
I did.
Very easy to make little widgets that you can put into the game. Oh, yeah, I'm going very fast now. And slide? No. I'll just tumble out of the world. It's cool. Freedom! Yeah, he's totally free now. All right. I'm going to close that. And that was our introduction to blueprints using infinite running mechanics. There's 1,000 more things you can do with this game, like adding score and whatnot. But I'll be here all night. So I'd like to thank you guys all very much for watching and sitting around and learning a little bit about blueprints with me.
Yay! Very nice.
Now, how do I stop the presentation?